It's in the Siagolago, Yakajago, Homo guys and Ananko, a bully Fakolaco. Where's the new marker?
Ladies and gentlemen, as we are just about to end, please make sure that your seatbelts are securely fastened. Thank you.
Tell him check my balance. I need it on disturbance. My voice in one insurance. A man passing a barrage.
Okay, so it's raining, so there might be some noise interference while I'm trying to do this. So this is the shoe that I'm trying to last right now. This is not the last on which I made the pattern. The pattern for this thing was not made on this last, but because of some of the things I want to do as part of the bottoming, I now have to last this on this last, right? I don't do that. I can afford to do it because I can afford actually to waste this entire thing, and I have some experience. I can adjust a number of things during my lasting, but I'm going to have some problems. In fact, you can see that that problem is already beginning to manifest itself because I'm having to bulk up the back of this thing just to account for the last length differential that I had on the pattern. So, but the lasting process is going to be exactly the same, so let me show you that. So this is the upper that I want to last on this, right? First thing is we're going to install our backstays. I could finish lasting the lining and then install the backstay, but that might take quite some time. What I will do typically will be to, you can actually fold it over like this, add some glue here, install the backstay, the counter stiffener, add another set of glue here, put this back in, straighten it out. That way the backstay is laminated in between the upper and the lining, and then you go ahead and conclude your lasting. But there's another method also, and that is you can actually flip the entire thing over like this. So this is actually very good for beginners. This makes your life easier. So when you flip it over like this, you basically add your glue around where you want your backstay to stay. Backstay to stay. Add your glue where you want to install your backstay, and basically just spread that glue. Be generous with your contact cement. Be generous with your glue when installing backstays. That way things don't dry up too fast. You have enough time to make your adjustments and all whatnot. Now on this side, so you see that I've marked the middle. I've marked that middle. I'll basically align it to the back seam, the center of the back seam, centralize it to the back seam, and I can really, you know, try and lie this down like so. Now because there is no glue to the back, I guess you can add some glue just so that it can tack. Just very light glue so that it can actually pack and hold steady while you're trying to do it. Give it a flip. You don't need it completely dry. Pack this to the back seam. Now you would have some clearance here. Don't worry. By the time we fold it over, all of that, all you need is that the first half this way should be completely packed to the upper, that there are no creases, and that it is centralized at the back seam. Then you add more glue here. Maybe add just a little around this place so that you can have that tack when you're laminating it. Just a little. You don't need so much. Then you can bring this back down. Now this is a little bit more messy than the other way. Now because I don't want to rub any glue on I basically try to hold this, pinch this in. You see that I'm cleaning out hold it in place, and ensuring that the backstay doesn't shift in any way. You can bring that down like so. You notice that at all times I'm wiping off glue stains from my hand so that I don't stain the back of my upper with any. So with this installed like this, you flip the entire thing right side down and then do your final adjustments. Basically, if you pull at it lengthwise and ensure that you have no wrinkles, you know, at the sides here. So you pull it lengthwise and also pull it lengthwise from the top here, and also pull it lengthwise from the bottom. Now we have installed that. Next step, we start the lasting. So we place this in here and put this just about either apart or just a little bit over the top. Another thing you can do is to ensure that the feather edge corresponds with the feather edge. Just the entire thing corresponds with the feather edge of the last. So raise it up a little bit like this. Ensure that it is centralized here. So you raise it up, ensure that the back is centralized, and put a tack at the under here so that while you're pulling, it doesn't shift. Then you also centralize the 12 o'clock position and then pull there. This is snug. Next position will be, you take this like this and just pull both ways. When you pull like this, you will notice this point where this whole part, this part is completely lying flat. That will give you an indication of the next two places you are going to pull, which is, you know, just at the edge here and that edge here. So that is what I call the 2 o'clock position and the 10 o'clock position. So I will put this down. First of all, give a slight pull at the lining so that any wrinkles that may have formed inside will straighten out. And then I'll pull. Secure it there. Take a look. You see that place is still lying flat. Then you come back here. Give a pull, just a slight pull at the lining so that any wrinkles that may have formed inside will go out. And then you are pulling at a 90 degrees angle, really. So you pull and secure this in place. Now you notice that this whole place is completely lasted. You have the option of pulling this down, but before we do it, let's do another 2 pulls. So if we pull down like this, we're trying to, this bulge here, we're trying to flatten it down. So our next pull is just going to be around the ball of the feet, the ball of the last. So we basically, the same thing we did, we start from the medial side first, give the last lining a slight tug, and then pull at 90 degrees again, 90 degrees to this feather edge line. And as I'm pulling, I'm using my hand here to see whether it is actually adjusting and lapping to the shoe. Pull. And you can use the guidelines of your lasting allowance that you made to give yourself an indication of how much to pull and how much not to pull. So it puts a tack there. This place is lying flush. By the time we give here some pull, you see that I'm pulling just at the lining again. It's just unfortunate that this is stitched onto the lining. It would have given me a better adjustment, a better opportunity to give this lining a pull somewhere here. I would have liked to pull it here, but note to self, I will not do that again. So I'll basically stitch this strip to the upper and leave the lining clear in the next pair. So, but nonetheless, give it a pull here. I can also give it some tug there, and then just around there, pull. I get to that feather edge line, guideline of my lasting allowance, and I can holding this in place so that it doesn't shift. I can put my tag, put another one so that it's very well secure. And you see that the whole front part, don't worry about this. If we give a slight torque here and there, this will adjust. In any case, we're going to loosen all of these things out and just pull on the lining flush. So this is not really a problem. You see that the entire front is very much adjusted. Then we can come to the back here. Remove this tacks that we have. Take another look again to ensure that the back seam is still centralized, right? And then we can pull it down. But while you're pulling it down, you have to make sure that you catch the lining, the backstay, and the upper as well. So I'm basically trying to do some adjustments on the lining, just to pull at it a little bit to ensure that any wrinkles that may have formed are all just completely taken away and everything is very well adjusted. The lining pattern, I didn't create this curve. I basically ignored it because I know that by just doing this, I can, take away those wrinkles. So just pull at this to ensure that all of those freckles are out of the way. And then, in fact, while we're doing it, you notice that this came down. So what I do is I pull this all the way to align the guidelines of my feather edge to the feather edge of the last. Pull it down until we get to those guidelines, and once we are there, you notice that the top flaps are very well adjusted. They are straight. If your pattern is correct, they will be straight and snug on the last. And then once that is done, you put a tack here, secure it in place. In fact, let me use a nail somewhere here so that it goes in right into the last, because of all of the padding that I have done. So this tack here only gets to this paddings, but I need it to actually get into the last so that it doesn't move while I'm doing the rest of my lasting. So how many nails do we have now? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The next ones will be the side flaps. So we start again from the medial side. This time you can just choose to go strictly on the lining, and then you pull. See, when you pull on the lining, first of all, like so, you ensure that your top line remains straight and is not crooked. Once you are sure of that, you can pull on the whole thing. Now, holding it in place with my lasting plier, I put it back there. So the key thing to watch is that this top line remains straight. Exactly the same process will be done on the other side. The key thing you need to do is to ensure that the top line is straight and not crooked. And once you've done that, you have completely lasted the shoe. Of course, I didn't show you where I pulled up the upper and, you know, just secured the lining in place. I also skipped the part where I did where I attached the front stays, the toe cap. All of that you can find in another video that I will link in the description, and you can also see a link to it at the top right hand corner. But the key thing I want to talk to you about is that the reason I'm making this shoe in the first place is because we're going to be doing quite a bit of finishing this month of April. I had advertised our classes called Finish Work. Quite a number of you have also signed up for it. Like I said, it's going to be a paid class, but all of the members of this channel, every single member, irrespective of when you joined our membership, do send me a DM. Maybe send me a DM that you are a member. I'll put my phone number in the comments or in the description, so that you can actually send me a DM indicating that you're a member, so that I can add you for free into the paid class where we'll be teaching finishing techniques and you know, several things related to finishing techniques. We'll do some patina, and we will also finish leather heels. So that's basically what we want to do. As you can see, this came out quite well. That's the second part of it. So in our finishing classes, we will you know, finish the sole of this boot and the heel as well, and then we would also do some patina on this nude loafers, right? So that's what we're going to do in the Finish Work classes. There's a cost to it. I've not really cost it yet, but I'll do that. God bless you.